Hi, my name is Prism. To go over quickly as a disclaimer, if you're under the age of 18, this is a podcast for more towards adult content that we'll be covering when it comes to relationships, abuse, mental health issues. So just please be advised. And also, I'm sorry about the poor microphone quality. I will be getting a better microphone in the future, and this is my first podcast, so please forgive me. And it's also springtime, so I am suffering from allergies, so my voice is not so good. It's stuffy. I'm having a lot of problems breathing, and I got the sniffles as well too. So the topic is how to get over someone fast. So to go over this, how to get over someone fast, who would benefit from this? People who would benefit from this podcast would be people who are thinking constantly about their crush, someone you're into that really isn't into you. You're playing that wait text game with someone, so you're like texting someone and you're waiting for them to respond, and it takes them like 20 minutes to like 5 hours for them to respond back. And dating someone for a while and it's really going nowhere. You've been in a relationship for a while and it's starting to die out, or you're married and it's not doing so well. So there's an entire spectrum of relationship levels that could possibly benefit from this exercise. So what you will need is a computer or laptop with writing software, simple as a Notepad or Microsoft Word. Or you can use Google Docs and you can create, a new sheet or a new document. Or you can use a blog such as WordPress or Tumblr, and you can just go ahead and create a new blog but set it to be viewed only by you. And if you don't type fast, you can use a piece of paper, pen and pencil, or you can just like write in a journal or even just a plain spiral notebook. And in this exercise, you will imagine that you guys are living together and you're at home and he or she is late from work and you guys are married. So, yes, in this exercise, you are to imagine that you guys are living together and you're married. You want to write down the scenario as if you are creating a fictional, and yes, make sure you understand this is fictional, story, including the dialogue that he or she would say to you. So not only is this going to be fun because you get to indulge in your fantasies, but this is also going to give you a chance to really see what it would be like to be this person's significant other or spouse. In case you don't actually believe in marriage, just but the scenario is you guys are actually living together, and you guys are in a relationship with each other. So, for example, I'm home alone and I'm in this grand mansion. It can be anything because this is my story or my fantasy. And you receive a text that they will be late from work. And you actually write down what you would text back. So, for example, he would text me, "Hey, hun," I, I actually mulled over him saying, "Hey, babe." And I didn't know if I really liked the word babe, so I just kind of figured, okay, well, I'm his wife, so he's gonna say like, "Hey, hun. Hey, hun, I will be late from work. Got a few more cases to write up, and then we will meet up with the guys for a few drinks." Then I would write, or in your case, you would write what you would text him or her back. So it could be anything. So would you say, "Oh, no worries. There will be food in case you're hungry when you get home. Love you." Because you're their partner or you're their spouse, so or boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever it is that you want to be in this fantasy, you can write down. Just make sure you write it down. That's the key thing. You have to write down as if you guys are actually having this dialogue. And then you would write down how you would react when he or she gets home. So picture that you can hear the car pulling through the driveway, and you can hear his footsteps going through the garage door. Would you passionately embrace him or her, or would you like make love to him or her right then and there? And it sounds great, except the more you reflect on it, what would happen afterwards? What is the dialogue that would be there? Would you know how he or she would react afterwards? Do you notice any anxiety or uncomfortable feeling you would feel? Because there's this subconscious side of you that knows that you don't really know what he or she would be like after you guys had such an intimate moment. Would he go off and just leave you to go do something else? Like, for example, let's say he came home from work and we did have sex right then and there. And I can only imagine like that would be awesome. But then all of a sudden he just like walks away and goes to watch TV or watch sports. Or would he be there and would he cuddle with you? What would he be saying? What dialogue would there be? So, how would you know how he or she would react afterwards? So, you really have to figure out how or why. So, what this exercise does is it allows you to envision your life with this person, and it also gives you a chance to see how rational or irrational your thoughts are. How it helped me is it helped me realize that the vision with this guy that I like was actually purely sexual and desires, because I honestly had no idea how he would treat me as a husband or a boyfriend because I didn't really know him at all. And to give you a little background, I met this guy online and we pretty much hit it off pretty well. Initially, I wasn't really into him because he was actually venting over a, a woman that he was getting over. But the more I learned about his background, he did his undergrad work in psychology, like me, and he did his graduate work in social work to become a therapist, like me. And he's actually on his way to becoming a licensed therapist. So I was like, wow, this guy and I share the same values. He's also adopted, and we share the same faith. So I didn't come from a very good childhood. So I didn't get along very well with my biological parents. So I figured that he could understand me on that level when it came to relationships, because he himself understands what that's like, and the fact that he's such a good listener. So all those feelings that I had for him grew over time. So when I gave him little hints that I liked him, but I wasn't really sure back then that I was really into him, because I actually was more like a friend listening to him vent about this girl that he was really into, and it just didn't work out. So later on, as I started to get to know him, he invited me over to his family's house for dinner. So that's a huge jump. So I just couldn't make it because I was busy with exams that week. So I was actually really sad that I couldn't make it. And then in the next few weeks, over time, as I started to realize more and more that I was attracted to him, I finally confessed to him that I liked him, and I told him how I felt, which was a nerve-wracking experience altogether. And he was just blank. He didn't say anything at all. And I was very, very nervous, and I felt very uncomfortable afterwards because he just didn't say anything. And I didn't know what to do. So I basically just sort of distanced myself. In fact, I didn't really speak to him for a few days afterwards. And it made me realize that 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 he wasn't really as into me as much as I was into him. And so I did this exercise. And it really helped me because it became a useful tool for me to see what it would be like to live with this person. And it really did save myself some heartache. Now, if you're already in a relationship with someone and you're living together or you're married, you write down the same scenario and how you would envision their behavior as opposed to the way they are now. So the way you can compare your ideals and your values, you can compare it afterwards, after you finish the exercise, by thinking objectively and compare the reality of how they are now, and in comparison to what you would think or what you would hope that you would like the dialogue to be like, and how you feel when you're in their presence. So you can write these things down and you can compare. So hopefully this will help. If you have any additional questions, feel free to comment, and please subscribe, as it'll inspire me to create more podcasts. Thank you.